Let's do it. Today, I've decided that after reading some of the YouTube comments on some of the news, one comment in particular asked me, like, can we talk about anything that's positive that's happening? So in that vein, we're doing it. Here are the happy progressive news headlines for today, September 23, 2020, the year of oh my God. Okay, let's do it. So, I do think that we have to focus a little bit on the positive things that are going on. Because if we just watch the mainstream media, all we're hearing is about death, destruction, etc. And there are some good things happening out there if we are willing to entertain in our minds a little bit of positivity. Personally, I think positivity is a radical move. Being terrified is what the powers that be want us to do. And you don't make very good decisions or hear your intuition when you're terrified. So, in the hopes of helping, I got that for you. There you go. Here's a little happy dog as we do the news. Okay? This is real news. Okay. So here's some good news. Following Ruth Bader Ginsburg's death, Planned Parenthood saw a massive spike in donations and volunteers to help get out the vote across the country. Planned Parenthood and Roe v. Wade began trending on Twitter as people turned to social media to encourage others to do the same. The website for Planned Parenthood's political arm saw a 500% increase in week-to-week traffic from the previous Saturday. I'm hoping that this whole SCOTUS thing backfires because there are more of us than there are of them. Let's keep that in mind. So GOTV is one of the ways to win. A spokesperson for the organization told BuzzFeed News that the supermajority and Planned Parenthood Vote Online supporter briefing in reaction to the news about Ginsburg had 60,000 people tune in. Very high turnout for a Saturday night. That's what happens when everything's closed. People are like, hey, maybe I'll get involved in politics. Anyway, whatever happens with this appointment, said the spokesperson, it's critical that we flip the Senate majority and elect a president that isn't going to continue to appoint justices at the appellate level and district courts with justices who are against abortion access. We've got to play the long game, people. As Heidi Seek said when she was on our program, the CEO of Vote Pro-Choice, Chief Empowerment Officer, she said we have to play the long game. They've been playing the long game for a long time. So there's that. In other news, Michelle Obama's out there pounding the pavement. Don't listen to people who say that somehow voting is rigged. That is what she is saying. Voting is easy. This is what she says. It's something we can all do. Don't listen to people who say that somehow voting is rigged and your vote will get lost and it won't be counted. That is not true. Well, I think it's potentially true, Michelle, but that means we have to come out in droves, because if one vote gets lost and there's two more to back it up, that's good. Yes. Again, think of who benefits from just saying, oh, our votes don't count. Trump, because we got the numbers. Anyway, what she said that is Obama's voter registration and engagement organization, When We All Vote is what it's called. You can Google it. Had an event. There were a lot of people talking about presidential elections and political issues. I'm heartened because people are turning to content creation and content consuming is up 50% online. So although that might mean more people are getting crazy on you by watching QAnon bullshit, it also means that people are actually participating and able to participate across the country in what would be considered local events. So it's exciting. All right, guess what else we have? Somebody that everybody hates, or at least hated for a while, is doing something wonderful. This is a few weeks after Ron DeSantis, the Florida governor, won a court victory to keep felons from voting until they have paid off their fines, their poll tax. The billionaire and former candidate for the Democratic presidential nomination, Mike Bloomberg, has stepped in to help them pay off the debts. Yes, this is exactly what we need. Thank you, Bloomberg. You're making my dog smile. Bloomberg is part of the effort that raised more than $20 million to help felons who have completed sentences and are done paying their debt to society, except for the money part, help them vote in the presidential election. That's in addition to the $100 million he has pledged to help Joe Biden win Florida, a crucial state with 29 electoral college votes that Donald Trump hopes will keep him in the White House. We could do it, people. Come on, Florida. Anyway, with Bloomberg's help, the Florida Rights Restitution Council is trying to make it easier to pay off the fines and the fees. The group has raised about $5 million before Bloomberg made the calls to raise about $17 million more, according to Bloomberg advisors. What does this signal to you? Well, it signals to me that rich people like Bloomberg actually want Biden, which, if you want more of a socialism aspect to the Democratic Party, isn't the best news. But if you want to not have a crazy, insane cinnamon stick running our national and foreign policy, it's a plus. The FRCC, which is that org that I just talked about, Florida Rights Restitution Council, said that the donors also include people like LeBron James. Well, not people like, actual LeBron James. John Legend gave money, Michael Jordan, MTV, Comedy Central, VH1, Ben & Jerry's, Levi Strauss, the Miami Dolphins, the Orlando Magic, the Miami Heat, and Steven Spielberg. Now, I'll tell you, when the organizations other than Ben & Jerry's, untouchable, give the money, it's probably because, they want the good PR. But when John Legend and LeBron James and Jordan give money, that's because they want justice. And they see that Florida is a very important place. So they're working hard in Florida. The money is targeted to felons who registered to vote while the law was in question and who owe $1,500 or less. This accounts for about 31,100 people, Bloomberg advisors say. Although it's an uphill battle, I'm glad it's being addressed. And not only will those 31,100 people be able to vote, which they'll probably vote for Biden, I'm guessing. Although maybe they're not so happy with his history of incarceration. Anyway, at least this issue is being talked about in the Florida media. It's being brought to the attention. And, Bloomberg isn't saying I support Trump. He's certainly out there saying, we have to be realistic about what's going on in our world. I like it. He didn't just not win and then lay down and not do anything. Pretty good. In other good news, that's very good. I'm happy to report this, even though I don't want that to make people feel like they don't have to do anything. Anyway, to the millions of American voters who have experienced unprecedented wildfires, relentless storms, extreme heat, climate change has become personal. We discussed this with Sasha Abramsky yesterday. 60% of voters in 8 battleground states say they have felt the effects or know someone who has, according to a new poll of 896 registered voters surveyed last week by Public Policy Polling. PPP, commissioned by the electoral climate group Climate Power 2020, asked the voters about extreme weather in the aftermath of Hurricane Laura and the still raging wildfires in the West. 18% say they personally experienced impacts, while 21% had family affected and 21% know someone affected. This is actually very bad news for Trump. Yeah. Because he doesn't believe in climate change and he doesn't want to do anything about it, and he doesn't want to send firefighters to California. Okay. I'm not really sure what he's doing. Is he sending money to the others? It's questionable. I don't know. In other good news, this is a win for climate campaigners. 12 major cities and the leaders therein around the world, collectively home to about 36 million people, by the way, committed on Tuesday to divesting from fossil fuel companies and investing in green companies. Just recovery from the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. The announcement, which is probably a good idea given the fact that, the fossil fuel industry is tanking now and they'll take your retirement with them. So it's a little easier to divest the city's retirement plans when they're losing money if they're in fossil fuels. But hey, it's a plus if they're going to invest that money in green. The announcement from the C40 Cities, a global network of communities dedicated to tackling the climate emergency, came on day 2 of the Climate Week NYC, some of which is being held online because of the COVID-19 crisis, but some of which is being held in person with masks. Now is the time to divest from fossil fuel companies and undertake investment and policy change that prioritizes public and planetary health. That was from Bill de Blasio. Pretty good. In New York City, we know that taking action on climate change is not optional, said de Blasio, whose community has been hit hard by the pandemic. As we recover from COVID-19, we must make our cities even stronger. Hey, love him or hate him, he's actually doing some stuff. In 2018, he and London Mayor Khan established the first of its kind Divest Invest Forum to help city leaders shift money away from fossil fuels and toward the creation of low carbon jobs. Khan said Tuesday that his city has demonstrated that divestment is possible and indeed essential for the future. So we can thank COVID for making people not travel and therefore the fossil fuel industry crashing a little bit and making it economically feasible to switch to green energy, unfortunately. All right. And in final good news, well, we have 2 more good news pieces. Looking back at I'm going to skip that one for a hot minute because I see that our guest is here and I don't want to keep her waiting because I'm excited to talk with her about the topic. I'm going to end with this good news. And although I don't have a picture of a rhino, we can just enjoy my picture of the dog. Conservationists in Indonesia are celebrating the birth of 2 Javan rhinos. This is a species listed as critically endangered and one of the rarest large mammals on Earth. They found 2 babies, Helen and Luther. That's who they named them. They're calves that were just spotted by camera tracks at a national park in Western Java, Indonesia. The 12,600 acre park is the only spot on Earth to host these rare rhinos, which were once widespread across Eurasia and Africa, but are now on the red list of threatened species. Hooray! That's good. All right, we still have a lot of work to do, so let's do that. I hope this made you feel like there is a little bit of light going on out there. We can't just constantly focus on the darkness. Otherwise, we'll get all depressed and then we won't do the work that we need to do to bring about justice in our country. Thanks for watching. I'm Julianna Forlano. Please subscribe if you're watching on YouTube because we do this. Well, we don't do the good news every day. We try to bring you news from the progressive movement, but sometimes that's bad news too. Anyway, subscribe. Follow, hit the like button and leave a comment. Maybe something less like you're a terrible person, Juliana, but something more like, like the people who are leaving the intelligent comments. Those are the ones I like. Thanks for watching. You can follow me at Julianna Forlano on Twitter and follow ACT.tv across platforms.